A common question we get from investors is when and why and how and what's the reasoning for when we turn down deals. What is a bad deal that comes to so this is another daily parallel brief. We talk all things finances, investment topics as it relates to our hard money lending fund that we run here in Texas. Primarily, we lend out capital in the DFW area. This is not advice, not financial investment advice by any means. Big disclaimer there, but it's what we see on a day-to-day basis. So we talk mainly finances. I talk a lot of stuff from the investor side of things, and I want to start talking about some common questions we get from investors. So one of the common questions that we get from investors is why do we turn down deals? What makes a deal a bad deal, and why? You can talk about hundreds of different reasons why, and what makes a bad deal. I think number one, it comes down to, do we want to have a relationship with the person we lend this capital out to for more than for a year straight? Our terms are yearly terms. I think right now, depending when you watch this video, our average loan outstanding, our average length of a loan is maybe 8.5 months or so. So 240, 260 something days. We want to make sure we enjoy the borrower, even if it's a good deal. If it's a pain or not a good relationship, it's just not worth it for us. So whether it's a good deal, bad deal, if we get a terrible vibe from the person, because we meet the majority of our borrowers in person and they're all great who we do deals with, but if there's not a good vibe, if there's not a good relationship, that's one of the reasons why we will turn down a deal. Number two, experience comes into play. If there's no one helping them, if it's a first-time flipper, first-time builder, and there's no experience behind them helping them, that's going to be another reason why we may not do a deal, because we may not be able to get comfortable with that lack of experience. Obviously, credit score is another reason why, depending on what the credit score is. If they may have to bring on help to get that credit score to be approved, but credit scores can typically tell you if they're willing to pay back a loan or not. If they're willing to pay back a loan, then we can, in the deal pencils, we can probably find a way to get done. If there's not, if there's proof, or if there's like history of not being willing to pay back something that's due, that's probably not a loan that we are going to do. We always go into every loan, and I could probably have Eric or Alex talk more about this, because they do the origination, the underwriting process, the credit decisions when it comes to that front of things. I should let them talk about this, but we always want to make sure there's an exit strategy for the borrowers. We always make sure that there's a pathway to succeed for them. So there's a ton of different reasons why we'll turn down the deals. And the number one is just the vibe, the connection, the relationship. We meet the majority of our borrowers in person. And then what's their experience like? Are they willing to, what's their credit score? Are they willing to repay? Do they understand how numbers work? What's the LTV? Like, what's the value? If we can get a 60% LTV, then maybe we can get comfortable around other things. If it's something, we won't lend over 70% as of right now. When underwriting a deal, we won't lend over 70% of the LTV right now. So we got to make sure it's under that margin. Those are some more of the basic kind of generic like underwriting principles that we won't get into. I think the number one, the top few reasons why we turn down deals are just, is it a fit or is it not a fit? Right? What's the experience? What's the credit score as far as, what's their, willingness to pay back a loan? And a lot of times that gets solved in the underwriting and origination process. So while we like to do deals, we don't do every deal. And those are some of the reasons why we do turn down deals. If you like this type of investment, financial talk, please consider subscribing, like the video, share, all that fun stuff on YouTube. It does help us grow. We put out content like this on a daily basis, on a workday basis, at least. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, share, subscribe. All that stuff helps us grow. We'll see you next time. Peace.